Hey folks, happy World Carnivorous Plant Day. My name is Shakim Cooper. Some of you might know me from social media as Sculptivating Carnivores. In honor of today, I'll be taking on a quick trip down memory lane regarding some of my works thus far. Jumping right in and reaching way back into the records, it all started with this particular piece right here. Essentially, it was a trial run, so nothing too accurate or elaborate. My original thought process going into all this was to sculpt plants that were either hard for me to grow or ones I couldn't grow at all. And as a college kid in Florida of all places, the genus Helianthus seemed like a good start. From this crude first draft, I leapt straight into a more permanent version and incorporate some of what I thought you might see in situ for any Helianthus species. It wouldn't be too long before I shifted my focus toward my favorite genus, Nepenthes, starting with Nepenthes jambon. Personally, the form and overall weirdness, for lack of better words, is something I really gravitate to as both a grower and a sculptor. After completing that piece, I think the sculpting process really clicked, and on this high of my usually separate hobbies meshing, I ramped up the difficulty exponentially and went into Nepenthes lowii. Once again, it's another one of those really weird and really unique pictures, and given how long it takes for them to get to that point, or how difficult it would be for me to get to that point, given my conditions, sculpting it seemed like the best way around all that. Hitting the ground running, I would start my first round of commissions with some of the more iconic species. So, teeth and flair. What a great way to start. I would also do one of the more recently discovered species in Nepenthes mapuluensis. Slowly but surely, I would build up a portfolio of various species. Even revisiting a few along the way. Getting to branch out into the other genera was really also quite a treat. A few of these projects ended up having a significance in either their cultivar or their final destination relative to their commissioners. Of course, not wanting to be totally bogged down by serious sculptures only, there is some whimsy throughout my career. Taking a quick back step, the first piece in the timeline would be this fly trap sculpture, and of course it has my terrible humor injected into it. There have also been multiple instances where I'm feeling some kind of holiday spirit, whether it be Halloween or Christmas, and as a result, there are magnets or ornaments that get made. Not to mention the logo sculpture has been thrown in there, because why not? Essentially, I like to keep things light when I can. All in all, it's been a great 5 years of sculpting carnivorous plants and sharing them with people such as you watching this video currently. Speaking of current, here's a quick look at a couple of pieces I just recently completed in the past couple of months, starting with Helianthus McDonald Day. This piece is what I like to call a full circle piece of sorts. Based on the timeline I've presented so far, I haven't actually touched the genus in about 3 or 4 years. So being able to revisit and get a good chance to pick out a species and have something to directly compare to that previous piece was an opportunity I was very much looking forward to. From here on out, it'll be much more of a video, and I'll kind of just let the work speak for itself and chime in whenever necessary. Hope you enjoy. Originally, my work was done in polymer clay, and of course it has both its benefits and its drawbacks, like all things. The main one with that previous method was that I couldn't make reproductions. So once I completed a piece, it was one of a kind, and whatever happens to it, whether that be good or bad. With this current process, which I started by about 2020, I have fully adopted a different style of finishing the piece. They do start in clay, similar to my old method, but the clay itself is now a reusable one. It's known as monster clay, where I can melt it down, reuse it over and over again. So it doesn't actually get baked this time. And from there, I then create a mold, cast a resin copy. I'll paint that, I'll do any little finishing touches to that, and essentially that will become the piece that is then presented. I will say the approach isn't that different in some cases, but there are certain things that one method does better than the other. Overall, I will say the greatest takeaway from this new method is not only do I build a portfolio, but I also build a library of pieces, so I can always return to one if I need to. Of course, I couldn't start a new year without returning to my favorite genus, Nepenthes. And what is species to start the year with? You're looking at the sculpture for Nepenthes diabolica, formerly known as red hairy hamada, for very obvious reasons. And with that, here is Nepenthes diabolica. Once again, I am Shakim Cooper, wishing you a very happy World Carnivorous Plant
It's
Day.
not a surprise that gardeners, educators, and scientists are fascinated by these unique plants. The International Carnivorous Plant Society, or ICPS, not only love these plants, but welcomes growers just getting started all the way through professional scientists. The ICPS even started an annual World Carnivorous Plant Day to celebrate them. The free online event is held the first Wednesday of May. Take a look around our website and you'll find historic documents about carnivorous plants, growing guides, free educational resources, and more. Have questions? Ask. We don't bite, but our plants do.